Well, I do remember having some extraordinary food there. And
Mm.
me being a foodie and I love food, I'm very interested in it. It's very personal to me, first of all. So it's very special to me because Christmas for me is a very, very special time of year, I'm sure it is for many people in the
Uh-huh.
Philippines. So therefore, you're carrying across a very sort of something that's very personal to many people. You're carrying that across to the audience, so it's actually quite a responsibility. So this particular concert, I took really great care on what pieces of music that I chose, and knowing that some people would like to hear some hits from me as well as Christmas music. I've intertwined all of these pieces together, so my hits may have a slightly different arrangement, so it has a more Christmas feel. Obviously, some of the Christmas songs, there are traditional ones, there are religious ones, there are fun ones. There's a complete mixture there, but everything intertwines beautifully. Also, it's. I took very special care in creating a very visual treat for everybody. So it looks, it's intimate show, but it has a very
Uh-huh.
spectacular look as well, and and it creates many moods. I have been to the Philippines and to Manila once before, and I was incredibly upset that I didn't have the time, because I was moving to another country for another
Uh-huh.
concert, that I didn't have time to really enjoy it, and I think I do this time. So I'm dying to, obviously, because of the city's history. I really want to look at some of the architecture. I know there's a very Spanish feel to the
Yes.
architecture. I want to obviously enjoy the food more. I want to
Mhm.
just get out there and enjoy the city, because I mean it's huge, and I know it's growing all the time, and it's a very important city. So I'm always interested in different cultures. So I think that's another reason for wanting to bring this concert. Also, I think that for people in the Philippines, it's a very important time of year. I know that you start celebrating even in September. Lucky you. So I felt that of all the countries I'm going to, this is particularly an important one to bring this to. Well, I do remember having some extraordinary food there. And
Mm.
me being a foodie and I love food, I'm very interested in it. It's certainly always a great reason to come back, apart from singing for everybody. So that is one thing I am definitely going to concentrate more on, is choose some really interesting and wonderful dishes from there. It's very personal putting a repertoire centered around Christmas, because you have to take into consideration people's feelings at that time of year. And sometimes it isn't a great time for people. They struggle some years. We all have been through sort of like Christmases that haven't been great. Either we've lost somebody or we're feeling alone. There is that to consider. So as well as having a lot of sort of wonderment and beautiful pieces in this of the Christmas repertoire, I also have some songs that reflect on struggle, and that's important, because Christmas always brings those. If people are going through struggle, it actually enhances that feeling with people going through this. So I felt it was important to bring that element into the concert as well. That everybody is very, very aware um, of the struggle that some people are going through at that time of year. Well, my concerts always go on right before, so I'm absolutely exhausted when I get home to Great Britain. But um, our holidays generally, and in my family, because we're Christians, we celebrate really starting. Although the 1st of December we start winding up like you do in towards it, but
Uh-huh.
really it starts Christmas Eve and it ends at the end of the Boxing Day. So it's like a 3-day holiday. And during that time, I have a very large family. I have 5 siblings. They have all their children. Obviously we have our parents and then some uncles and aunts and whatever. So it's a lot. It can be 22 to 30 people around our table, and what we do on Christmas Eve, it's about everybody coming together. There's lots of excitement. It's about having a meal together. We'll generally have some fish or something like that, or cold things on the table, and then we'll go to midnight mass. Then the following day we open our presents under our tree. And then we have a huge late lunch, which goes on till the evening. And then the following day is Boxing Day. And that comes from an old tradition of basically people that had a lot of food and wealth. They would box up everything for people that didn't have so much, so that everybody enjoyed a wonderful meal at Christmas. So that's our 3-day. And then I think we're all tired of each other by that time, and then everybody goes off to their homes. So
That sounds like such a nice
that's our,
tradition, the whole Boxing Day.
isn't that great? I know it is. It's lovely. I mean, we're not doing that, but it's a day to remember that, and it's talking about having a wonderful time. But it's a time of year when we have to think of whoever we know that's struggling. That there are people out there that are struggling. So it's that sort of, it's a charitable day. It has that kind of feeling about it. The first Christmas I can remember of being a baby
Oh.
was it was completely magical. Obviously, I'd never seen anything like it, and watching the lights go on the trees, the presents going underneath the tree, going to church with all the lanterns and the beautiful sort of lighting that they use in the churches. It all was very magical for me, very mystical. So that was probably my most unforgettable Christmas. And I would probably associate with that the song "Silent Night." It's
Oh.
it's it's a beautiful song, and it can be sung in the German language as well. But that's the song I associate it with, and I am singing that in this Christmas
I
tour.
was